Welcome to the Stereofade Podcast, where we discuss music news and provide interviews with amazing artists from around the music scene. Now, here's your host and editor-in-chief of Stereofade.com, Josh Brown.
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Stereofade Podcast. My name is Josh Brown, and here today we have a very special guest with us, the amazing and talented Gabby B. She's a Brazilian pop star, singer, songwriter, and recently she dropped some new hits for you, No Sabias and Lickorish, just to name a couple. We're so excited to have her on the podcast today, and we're not going to waste any time. Let's just jump right into the interview and start with introducing our latest guest, Gabby B. Known professionally as Gabby B, a Brazilian songstress with a plethora of superstar talent, the pop vocalist has always been in tune with the entertainment industry. Born in Goiânia, Brazil, Gabby B was exposed to the world of entertainment from an early age. With a mother who was a Brazilian performer and a father who was a professional martial arts master, Gabby's passion for entertainment was nurtured from the start. Accumulating many international musical accolades in her short career, Gabby B's recent song, No Sabias, ranked number 4 on the iTunes Japan Latino chart, while Leche, featuring Vakina, ranked number 6. Gabby B is also an official ambassador with the nonprofit Boo to Bullying, a youth development and suicide prevention organization providing mentoring opportunities, educational resources, and mental health support to youth and families adversely affected by bullying. We covered her latest singles, No Sabias and Lickorish, recently, and I'm excited to have her here. I'm blessed to welcome the amazing and talented singer and dancer, Gabby B, to the show. Good afternoon, Gabby.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm good. Living the life.
Living the life. I feel you. Are you in Miami right now or in Florida?
Yeah, in Miami. Humidity all the time. But it's great.
Humidity all the time. That's good. Yeah, I've been to that area once. I think it's Hollywood. Is it Hollywood?
Hollywood?
Beach? Something like that.
Yeah, that's
Something
a great
like that.
place.
Hollywood, Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
There once, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I just wanted to start off with saying I'm glad I discovered your music, because you have me and my family just dancing, just throwing a whole party just based off your songs when I heard it. So
that's great.
it's so
I
really
love that.
appreciate it. So we're gonna start off with music. I'll start off with the most recent song I heard from you, Lickorish. So Lickorish showcases a vibrant mix of is it Portuguese?
Yes.
And Portuguese and English lyrics, embodying a playful and confident vibe. Can you share the inspiration behind blending those languages and how it reflects your artistic identity?
Yeah, so I have many fans who know English, like they're English speaker. So I wanted to kind of still have English in the song, but also Portuguese, so I can enter more of my cultural world. And so they can understand what the song is kind of about, but also the Brazilian speakers who speaks Portuguese to also understand the song. So I think it's a nice mixture that I put in there for both worlds. And a lot of artists nowadays in Brazil are doing that. Is mixing up languages, and I feel like a lot of people in general is entering different kinds of genres and then mixing it up with English or other languages. And I think that's just beautiful, and that's what I wanted to do with Lickorish, a little more traditional funk, but with also a bit of English in there.
That's awesome. I can tell you, I haven't heard of Brazilian funk until I came across your song, but I'm glad I did. So I have to catch some more influence, because I was I was out there shaking.
It's
I don't shake
world.
often.
It's a fun world.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So yeah. So the song is described as high energy and celebrating sensuality and independence.
Yes.
So what motivated you to explore these themes, and how do you believe they resonate with your audience?
So funk, just to give a little background on it, it comes from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and it comes from the ghetto areas, but it's a huge genre of music in Brazil. And the songs that are usually in in those type, like the lyrics in the type of funk songs, they're like more like, oh, like we're gonna go to the party, we're gonna dance, and we're gonna vibe, and we're gonna like, oh, that cute guy over there, like, oh, let's hook up, let's, it's more like sensuality, it's more like let's dance, it's very fun, the genre of funk. So when we were making the beat and everything, I was thinking of like, what can I write in lyrics, and then and then I was like, okay, this has to be something that the Brazilians would be like, oh, this is, yeah, this is fire, this is what we listen to, like this is the type of lyrics we like. So that's kind of how I wanted to feel, like the song in general is just like, oh, you see the cute guy, and you're like engaged in him, and you want to hook up with him, and everything that you want to do with him or whatever. So that's kind of like the idea of the song, but that's how like the funk culture is, and that's what I wanted to keep it, like I didn't want to make it like, oh, let me just change everything, like, make lyrics that is not really like funk style. So yeah, so I wanted to make it more like that, and dancey and stuff like
Yeah, I see it with the choreography with Lickorish.
yeah.
With the visualizer, are you planning on releasing a official video after that, or is because the visualizer had a good amount of content to it? So are you
Yeah,
planning on releasing a second video for it?
I'm not sure yet. We're still talking about maybe having a remix. I'm not sure, but like, I mean, I would love to make more, because I'm obsessed with the song.
Right.
The beat was just fire when Joe, aka Mr. Hit Record, made it, and just like I just vibe so much because I understand the whole thing and stuff like that. So but like it's just very danceable, but like, yeah, the choreography, like that I incorporate more twerking and all of that, that's like such a Brazilian thing, to have that. So I mean, I would love to do like a remix and make an official video to it, but who knows.
Hey, I'm looking forward to whatever you have next. But we'll say great visuals. The song is great, so I
Thank you.
pre- appreciate you doing that for us. Yeah, just so you mentioned Joe, aka Mr. Hit Record.
Yes.
And you all came together for not just this song, but I've seen his
Hmm.
name pop up several times. But as far as for Licorice, can you discuss the process of working together and
Yeah.
how you both contributed to the song sound and production?
Yeah, we've been working with each other for I think like 3 years now. He knows me. He knows the type of beats that I like. I always tell him I want the chucha, which is the funk vibe. So Licorice was like, okay, let's make a more traditional funk, and so he always, when I'm in the studio with him, there's a lot of times where he starts the beat out of scratch, like just starts cooking up some shizzles, and and then so like I'm there, I'm like vibing, like he goes through like what he wants in the, like the elements that he wants in the beat, and I'm like, oh, I like that one, and like kind of I give like my feedback while he does his thing, but not too much because I let him do what Mr. Hit Record does. And then once he like keeps, we listen to the beat over and over again, like when you're in the studio, it's like that beat becomes like inserted in your brain for like days because how much you're listening to it, and you have to like start doing the lyrics and everything and perfecting the beat. So while he's like perfecting the beat, then like once the rhythm, I can hear like a rhythm, I make up melodies and stuff, and then he lets me know if he likes the melodies, and he sometimes he comes up with the melodies, and I'm like, oh, that's fire, like let's put that down. So we start off with the melodies after creating the beat, and then the lyrics comes after that, because then I'm like, okay, now that we have the beat, we have the melody, now I can like see where I want to go with this. And then that's where the lyrics come, and I have like my little journal, or on the phone, and then I just start writing random things that makes no sense, just random words, and then I like puzzle them together, and I'm like, okay, this is the story I want to tell. And then if it's fire, it's fire. If it's trash, we throw it out. But that's how it is in the studio. You never know. It's like a vibe. It takes hours, but it's really fun in general.
Hey, that's not bad. So I'm assuming there's some pieces of record out there that we'll never get to hear. But because I assume everything you make is fire, so it's
Thank
no trash.
you. Well,
So no,
in music world, like we always make songs that we're probably never gonna
right.
release, but I try to like show it to exclusive fans. Like I have an exclusive place where I like to put like my song like songs that people have never heard before, things like that, so someone can hear it, because I worked hard on some songs that we're never gonna put it out, but it's like someone has to hear it.
Exactly. Especially, the fans would be the number one people to want to
Yeah,
hear that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That's that's great. So but just turn to the first song I've heard that I heard from you. See No Sabias.
Mm-hmm.
It's described as is it reggaeton? Reggaeton?
Yeah,
Um,
reggaeton.
reggaeton. There you go.
Mhm.
Reggaeton infused anthem about empowerment and independence. Did you have any personal experiences or stories that inspired you to write this song?
Well, so I've never done a full Spanish song. I'm not a fluent in Spanish, but since I live in Miami, there's a lot of Spanish influence. There's a lot of Latin people here. So I was like, with me and my team, we decided like, oh, it would be cool to do like a reggaeton type of style to appreciate the culture here. So then that's when we started working with producers that work with like reggaeton artists and all of those, and then like and so like the story of the song does relate to a case that I've had before, with an ex, my first ever love, where he would like he's too childish, like when we were like in high school, so like I would have to force him to go to school, or he wouldn't show me as much of affection as I would want, um or need or deserve, and he would just not want to work, and kind of be like kind of lazy, but like doesn't, and would say like things like, this is more specific, obviously, in the song is more like generic to all of the people, and like it's more like, okay, like this guy is a cheater, or this guy is like wanting to play video games instead of giving attention to me. But in my personal story, I mean, my ex like told me like, oh, you're gonna go to hell if you don't go to church, things like that. So
Whoa.
yeah, yeah, I can relate in that sense. And then I put the song is more of a worldwide sense. So
I understand. Yeah, I'm glad to hear the thought process behind it, because you can
yeah.
hear. I mean, you can. I saw it in the visuals, and then you can kind of hear in the in the lyrics,
Mhm.
that there was some real thought put into everything.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
appreciate that. So I want to shift to some of a little bit further back with some songs. Listening to the tracks like Leche and
Mhm.
many of your slightly older songs, I can admire the growth you've shown as an artist throughout the years.
Thank you.
Um, one quick question I have for you: on average, how long does it take you to write a song? I know you mentioned sometimes you just go into the studio and hear the beat and everything, but
Mhm.
how long on average does it take you to write a song?
Well, it depends. I feel like with artists and creative people, it's all about like, if it's very difficult to explain, but like if the moment is like you're feeling artistic, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm like having so many ideas in my brain, and you're cooking up a lot of shizzle. um I
Love that word.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, like then it's like quicker, then it's probably like an hour of writing, and you get things done really quickly. But if it's one of those days that it's like, okay, like I'm not in a creative mode, but let me dig into this, let me start feeling it, it takes maybe like a couple hours to like write like the first verse or the chorus and stuff like that. I'm not the quickest writer, but I think it also depends on like the days of the weekend, like when your brain is, it's very like, artists will know, if artists are watching this, they will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's all about the feel.
There you go. The feel.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. So a couple more questions on say listening to some of your older tracks.
Mhm.
I noticed that you hit us with a bit of a tonal shift in tracks like One Too Many and Fire.
Hmm.
But I love how passionate and thoughtful the lyrics are with One Too Many.
Thank you.
What message did you want to accomplish with the song?
So one too many. My before ever writing the song, the thought process of it is making a ballad song that can be a song for like those who's been a victim of bullying, and that's what it's really about, like in my heart, how like I wanted to interpret it, because I've been a victim of bullying in different countries, different places, and like I wanted a song that spoke to that and like showed that side of me, because I'm always showing my good side, my dancey side, my lovable
Right.
side. But as an artist, I feel like it's important to also show your sensitive side and things that people don't necessarily know that happened to you and wouldn't even believe that happened to you. But it can inspire a lot of people that are going through the same things, because people are not perfect, and they've been through things, they've been through like down moments, and they need the type of songs like that makes them feel like I'm not the only one. So that's where One Too Many came from. It was a really hard song to like sing in the first place. Like every time I was like trying to record it, I would start crying. It would be like really hard. But yeah.
I can understand. Yeah, it was pretty powerful. I was surprised when I first heard it because I didn't know what to expect. Just clicking through YouTube, and then I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is different." But
Yeah.
this is what's needed. This type of
Mhm.
message, especially nowadays. So I
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
we appreciate that. And then I'm going to ask you later about your organization as well, the bullying. So I just a couple more questions about music for you before we switch gears. Can you elaborate on how your upbringing shaped your approach to music and performance?
Yeah. So I was born in Brazil, to both my parents being entertainers. And that's really like my whole life has always been entertainment. That's what I know, like throughout my whole life. So growing up, I always like I never had a babysitter. My parents never trusted me with one. I grew up in France. So they would take me like in the clubs. Obviously the little kids aren't allowed in the clubs, but they would allow it because they would hire my parents to perform Brazilian entertainment. So like I would go with them, and I would like always watch from behind the scenes. I would always be in the little room, or you know in the clubs, in the weddings, like weddings and all of that stuff, like as a little kid watching my mom dance, and in rhinestone bras. She would wear rhinestone bras with feathers and everything. That's where the rhinestone bras came for me. My mom still makes them till this day for me, and I make them. I learned how to make them, and my grandma does too. So like we all contributed because of my upbringing, with the outfits. And then my dad, the martial arts, like that's where my aggressive side comes out. Like I love being aggressive when I perform. And growing up, just always going to his classes and always knowing capoeira is literally my whole life. So like it's always like aggressive and everything, so that's where that came from. And just the Brazilian culture is always like living in France. I didn't live in the French culture, even though I knew it was around me. Arab culture was around me, but like in my house, rice and beans, and we talked in Portuguese and French at the same time. And it would always be like that Brazilian culture. And like even like Brazilians that lived in France too, like they would, come together. French people would learn Portuguese for capoeira. Like it would just be like always like that mix. And then coming to I lived in Canada too, and they had a lot of Russians there, so I a lot of Russian cultures. But in the my point is like I grew up with so much culture around me, but still keeping my Brazilian culture. I knew so much. I've seen so much. I've tried so much, and that's what I like to incorporate in my music is elements of different cultures. And like I love the belly dance. I love like I love culture. That's who I am. That's where I grew up. Yeah.
Hey, I love culture. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can definitely see that in your videos, your socials, just your overall vibe. So I appreciate
Thank
you letting
you.
me in on that. Album plans. You had a lot of singles. We have anything coming soon?
Album plans. I am working on an album which I
Mhm.
don't know when it will release, but it's been an ongoing work. It's called Fire and Ice, and the idea is to have the on the fire side, it would be like more of an EP, so like it would be like two different EPs. The fire would be more dancey, more let's have fun, more let's like, let's do things that humans do when they want to like live life and be rebellious. And then ice is more like the sensitive side, like the downfalls or the stories of human beings, and like, like, oh, he cheated on me, and I, like now I don't whatever, or like any other stories, like kind of like that, but like, more meaningful and more like what people can relate to instead of like just dancing. So that's like what it's an ongoing thing, ongoing project that I'm working on. But as far as singles go, oh, so many singles to come, so many, like just trying to release a lot of them and plan it out. But it's all gonna be Latin flair, it's all gonna be, that type of vibe. So I'm excited for it.
Hey, I'm excited too. Get ready to shake my shoulders a little bit. That's as much as I could do. That's as much as I could do. Well, appreciate you answering my music questions. I just
Thank you.
I wanted to, and I had some questions about fashion. You kind of covered it, with your your mom being an inspiration for your rhinestone bras and
Yeah.
just the skirts and everything.
Yeah.
Just one quick fashion question. Bes- how did you become interested in just kind of pursuing it on your own? With that inspiration that you gathered, kind of what inspired you just to, instead of buying outfits and things every time, but just kind of wear your
Mhm.
own creations.
Well, they're expensive. That's one
That
thing.
is one big reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very expensive. So like to keep buying new ones, and obviously like as an artist, like it's difficult because it's like, oh, I saw you wearing that the other day. It's like you always have to keep changing up, what you're wearing and stuff, and not wear it like too close apart in the months. So like my mom always has done her clothes in when she did samba and stuff. So that's kind of how like it started. Like my one of my music videos, not my first, but one of them, she's like, oh, let me just make you this real quick, because we didn't have time to get anything and we couldn't find anything. So then she just made it, and then I watched her. I'm a visual learner, so anything I look at, I can learn way more if you just tell me, because if you tell me, I probably won't know anything that you're saying. That was me in school. Like I had to see it. So that's how I learned English. But
There you go.
so like my mom did the bra for one of my music videos, and then, oh, I think it was Christmas Day. Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Yeah, so it was Christmas Day, and I was like, oh my god, this is so nice, and I watched her do it, and then I tried it myself. I'm like, let me get a bra at Walmart or whatever. So I started experimenting, and then I showed it my mom, and then my mom's like, oh my god, that's so beautiful, how did you learn how to do that so quick? I'm like, I just watched you. And then that's how it started. My grandma does crochet, so she's been doing crochet bras for me, which is so beautiful. But yeah, my mom and I, like nowadays, like I probably have way more than 50 bras in my closet, like rhinestone beautiful bras. But like my mom's doing one back home right now. I'm telling her like what colors I want, because like we're always trying to change up the colors. She just finished one that was crazy, like it was crazy detailed. And then I just love doing it too, because it's like I love fashion. Fashion is nice. But I don't like following fashion, like, oh my god, this is trendy right now.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that. I like to do what I think, is going to work for my body, because I feel like everybody has a different body type, and like not every trend is gonna work for everybody. Like high pants, that's a big trend. High waisted jeans, that doesn't work for me. I'm 5'2", I'm short.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's gonna look like
Right.
I have no stomach at all. So like things like that, like, and then I just decide to make my own. I learned how to make my own skirts now. So because every skirt that I see is a little more higher up, and I wanted it more short. So then I learned how to make my own skirts. So I always do different things for my performances.
Hey, no, I appreciate that. Definitely gave me some good insight into the mastermind that Gabby B is when it comes to fashion.
Yeah,
So definitely appreciate it.
thank you.
Gonna switch gears for kind of the final thing I want to talk about, and that's with your the nonprofit that you work with. As an ambassador for a boo to bullying,
Mhm.
advocacy against bullying is a cause that you seem passionate about, and one that I'm thankful that you're helping bring a focal point on. What has pushed you or driven you to take action in this area and being a voice against bullying?
Well, the biggest thing is being a victim of it. I was bullied for so many reasons in my life, and I'm not even old. Like I just, but it's
Right.
been like literally like so much, and I need people that hasn't gone through that to understand that the people who has gone through that is a real thing. Because I've had people come up to me and be like, oh, that's not, those things only happen in movies, like that's not real. Like there's people that doesn't know that this actually happens, like and people kill themselves for that, and it's like it's really sad. And it's gone to the point where it's like it's too much, and now there's social media, and so I think Buddha bullying is a really good um place, because it's like a whole community that talks about their experience to children's, to other people, and like so they can know like, oh, they're not the only one, and it can happen to anybody, and it could happen for any reason. You could be like different, like I was in different types, in different ways of my lives. Like I've had my era that I was really chubby, and I had my area that I was like considered very pretty, but then like I got slut shamed. If I was very chubby, I got fat shamed. There's like there's nothing, everything people hated on. So I feel like it's important for other people to know, especially kids that are just starting off in life, and so they can be ready, because I wasn't I wasn't ready. My mom didn't get bullied in school. So and like a Brazilian girl, like moving to France for the first time, starting off school, like, oh, like you look different than all of us, or going to an American school, and then oh, it's a Brazilian girl, but she moved from France, so she's French. And then people didn't understand that, and they would just be like, oh, you probably don't take showers, you probably stink, because that's the French stereotype, even though I'm Brazilian, but like that's still very rude, like so like there's always like those types, or like racism, like, oh my god, like like there's this bunch of white girls like in a group, and they don't want to be friends with you because you don't look like them. Or people posting, this is all the little things that happen to me, but like posting photos of how you look on social media, and talking shizzle about your look, and how you're dressed and stuff in school, and you're just trying to go about and learn things. I've had to go homeschooling because it got so bad, and that's the reason why I moved to Florida, because of bullying, because I couldn't handle it anymore where I was before, and I had to move here because I needed to be far away from everything that was going on, because it got really bad. So
At
so
all.
that's
Yeah, that's
why
a lot. Yeah.
I'm with Buddha bullying, because I think it's important for everybody to know what it is, and that it doesn't just happen in movies. It's real.
You're right. It's real. It's real life, and I appreciate you bringing it out to the forefront, especially the kids nowadays. The young millennials, Gen Z.
Yeah.
I'm 33, so I'm a little bit older, but just I feel like this younger generation under me, that just the bullying is different. Nowadays it's not. the
Yeah.
TV, you mentioned it's like it's real cyber bullying. It's
Mm-hmm.
in person. It's just all over.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you bringing bringing a light to it, and I hope to see you do well with the organization. That's
Thank
definitely
you.
something we're
Thank you.
interested in. On that same or similar to that subject, kind of on the same vein. You've co-authored a book um,
Yeah.
about well, I'll let you kind of talk about your book and kind of discuss the inspiration behind it.
Yeah, so the book goes like with the story about the bullying and stuff. Obviously I wanted to make it more kid friendly, so it's not like super like honest about it, because if it was, it would be probably rated R.
Right.
But so I wanted to make it more kid friendly, where kids can understand like what's happening. Like the story is about me, obviously, going to an American school for the first time, and riding the yellow school bus. I don't know if you've heard, but yellow school bus is a very American thing. Like, they don't have it
Right.
anywhere else. I've seen it on TV all the time. And when I lived in France, I got obsessed with Americans, and that's all I wanted to do. This is like my mindset when the book was written. And like, the yellow school bus was like the one yellow school bus, the lockers, and the those black and white books, notebooks that every American kid had. That's what I wanted. I wanted to go to an American school and do that, all of that. So the book is about when I got to an American school for the first time, and then people would judge the food that I would bring to school, my Brazilian type of food, and just like not like me because I'm this new girl from a foreign country, and I'm this like foreign girl. So that's kind of what the book is about in a more kids version. And then, but at the end, I make it more friendly instead of like bad. So like, where the kids all become friends with her and everything. So that's what the book's about, just for kids to know, like, oh yeah, this is something that actually happened. And but at the end, it's like pretty good. She made friends and everything, and everything's fine.
That's awesome. And the book is called Gabby B and Her New
New
School
School
Adventures. Is that right?
Adventure, yeah.
Sounds good. Where can we find the book?
Barnes and Nobles, or Barnes and Noble, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of those still around. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I'll definitely check that out. Maybe
Thank you.
just kind of highlight it for you. So yeah, I appreciate everything you're doing for bullying and mental health
Yes, mental
stigmas,
health
and
is important.
yeah, definitely appreciate you. Final word. Just got some couple of random questions for you
Okay.
before we wrap up. Um, Outside of music, what are your passions and or hobbies that your fans might be surprised to learn about?
Uh, well, I'm obsessed with Barbies. Now, this is probably strange coming from a 23-year-old, but actually, it's not once I tell the story. So, I'm obsessed with Barbies. Why? Well, first, I'm a girl. But the main thing about it that I'm still stuck to, I'm a Barbie collector, so I have like over probably almost 400 Barbies now in my room. And I collect the houses, I collect the camps. I'm obsessed. I love it so much. But that came because I'm an only child. So growing up in France, I always have adults around me, my parents' friends and everything. So I never had like, a kid around. Like I've had friends in school, but they backstabbed me a lot of times. Like I basically had no friends. um so like the Barbies, like in my home, the Barbies were like the one thing that I like to talk to. And like, as a little kid, you have imaginary friends. I had an imaginary friend, and I had Barbies to play with, and that was my friends. I mean, that was my siblings. Like, I didn't grow up with siblings. So that's where that came from. And like, every time like I would get picked on at school, I would go back home, and who would I talk to? My Barbies. So that's the one thing that I always get stuck on in from the past, that I'm never going to let go. Is now, instead of playing with my Barbies, I'm a Barbie collector, where I love to just have different, cuz Barbies is not just one thing. they have different cultures. I'm collecting every country Barbies. They have different like profession Barbies, and like like when you get obsessed with cars or something. Yeah, that's me with Barbies, and that's something that fans never expect because they see me online and they're like, "Oh my god, she's like, oh, like a bad bee," and everything. I'm trying not to swear. So yeah, so then I'm like, "Hi, I love Barbies," and they're like, "What? This is weird," but it's me.
That's great. So I bet you're, it made your day or made your probably year last summer with that movie coming out.
Oh my well, actually, as a true fan, I was kind of scared. When you like something so much and you get scared that they're going to ruin it? That
Right.
was me. That was me before it came out. But once I saw it, I cried so much. I'm like, they made it so informative, like of what stereotypes think about Barbie, but what Barbie really is, like the company of Barbie, and what they're trying to accomplish with it. And I just thought it was really beautiful. It was a good movie.
That's great. I still haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. Because
I wouldn't
I can't
expect you
decide.
to.
Right. Well, I want to watch it, but I can't decide between watching that first or watching Oppenheimer first. Because same day, and I'm like, they're both out now, and I'm like, just I end up watching neither one of them. But definitely on my list, definitely. So yeah. So that's pretty much all I have. I'm just gonna just wrap up with some, just some links and stuff for you. Quick question: what's some good restaurants down in Miami for when I visit?
Restaurants down here. Well, I'm not like a bougie person at all. Like I'm more of a laid back. So I like Ale House. Ale House is always a good option. There's a full name to that, but I always call it Ale House. And I mean Longhorn. I feel like they have it everywhere. Outback too.
Right.
um, I'm trying to think about more Miami stuff. Oh, Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
Wait, but they have it in Georgia.
There's a lot of Chick-fil-A's. Yeah, like I said, I'm up here in Carolina. There's one like 2 minutes from
I
me, and
didn't know
it's
anything about Chick-fil-A until I got here. Is
yeah,
is Popeyes
that's
also a
Popeyes
worldwide
is up
thing?
here. Yep.
Okay. I like the normal stuff. I can't really say like one like the only Miami thing. I mean, I guess yeah, Chick-fil-A was the closest thing that I could think about. I love it.
What about have you heard of sugar cane?
Sugar cane. I think I've heard of it. I don't think I've been there.
Sounds like you have to try it out.
Yeah, I should probably.
Sounds good. And the podcast was searching for maximum flavor.
That was a great podcast, though.
I can ask you about it if you got some things to say.
I mean,
So
the podcast was amazing. The food was really unexpected because I was blindfolded. They offered me to pick like one of the blindfolds that they had, and there was like normal ones, but then there was this one that just stuck out to me. It was like this big lizard or whatever. It's like like this big eyeballs, and I was like, I want that one. So I wore that the whole time, and then they would like put a plate in front of me from her restaurant, and then I would like try it and stuff. But like it's funny because I'm not the great. I didn't know I wasn't the greatest. Like when I tasted it, I thought it was chicken and it was like pork, but nothing similar. But like I could smell it and I could tell what cultural like country it was from, which is funny because I can tell by the smell. But when I tasted it, I'm like, this is definitely chicken, and it was like pork. It's a funny. You have to see it. It's very funny. They have really good food. I mean, I was very surprised. It's nothing that I've ever tasted before, but it's really good. It's really creamy. Chef Adrian's Vineyard Restaurant and Bar. That's what it's called. It's really wonderful. Yeah,
that's
yeah. It's real.
awesome.
It's a really fun YouTube channel. Yeah, it was an adventure.
Awesome. I got to check that out. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there anything you want to add or bring up or mention or anything extra from the
Mm,
Gabby B?
Uh, I mean, I think I think I'm good. I think we talked about a lot of things.
You definitely gave me a lot to listen to and a lot to learn about you. So I definitely appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you.
Just gonna wrap up with just some info where people can find you at. For more additional information about Gabby B and her music, you can visit GabbyBmusic.com. Social media you can find on Instagram at Gabby B Music, Gabby B _ music. Same with TikTok, Gabby B _ music, and YouTube at Gabby B _ music. Find the music on Spotify. I listen to it on Apple Music. Everything sounds great. Facebook, you can catch her at facebook.com/Gabby B page, and Twitter, Gabby Bueno Music. I said Bueno right this time. Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, Gabby, I really appreciate you hopping on and spending some time with me.
Thank you.
If there is anything you need, when the next singles come out, definitely
Awesome.
wouldn't mind featuring it on my
Thank
page.
you.
And
I appreciate it so much. And I'm obsessed with your background. I keep staring at it, so it was a great pick.
Yeah. You mentioned it earlier, and I was thrown off because I was like, oh yeah, I did. So because I have nothing else. These are actually just foam acoustic panels.
Oh wow.
Just put on the wall. So they are
That's cool.
They're all just. Took like 2 minutes to put all those up and everything. So yeah, looks
That's
good.
Cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, and thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Stereofade Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and check us out on our website, stereofade.com, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at @Stereofade, and on YouTube at @Stereofade Podcast.